magnificent animal. Hi, I'm Mike Lipinski, and I'm enjoying the wildlife exhibits here at the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation's international headquarters in Missoula, Montana. For a wildlife lover, this place is like hallowed ground. Walk in this showroom and you can just feel the great love and affection for this unique big game animal. And for good reason. The graceful bull elk with his massive sweeping rack of antlers has come to symbolize all that is still wild and free in our country. Elk habitat contains some of the most spectacular, pristine areas in the entire world. But there's more. Every fall, sportsmen like myself are irresistibly drawn to the backcountry haunts of the mighty bull elk to experience the excitement of the elk rut, which is truly one of the most awesome spectacles in the natural world. It's a time when the bulls come out of hiding, and you can encounter a bull elk not in hundreds of yards, but in mere paces. Look at the size of this enormous bull. How would you like to encounter a massive bull elk like this at point blank range? Point blank elk encounters. That's what this video is all about. Sit back and brace yourself for one close range elk encounter after another. We'll take you to the states of Idaho, Oregon, and Montana and give you a good geographical cross-section of what close range elk hunting is all like. Now, Idaho is elk country. It's steep, brushy mountains, and you get a lot of rain there. When we hunted there, it seemed like it rained every day, but there's just frantic elk activity during the rut. Idaho is one of my favorite states to hunt. The video crew wasn't too wild about it because I almost killed them, dragged them all over the hills, but it's spectacular, as you'll see. Oregon is so beautiful and diversified. You have the coastal mountains with the rainforest, and you have the sagebrush in the southern part of the state, and then the Blue Mountains where we bow hunted. It's just a spectacular diversified state. I just loved it. In Montana, Montana, my home country, the big sky country, the high country parks and rocky crevices. It's elk country. It just gets me excited even think about my home Montana, and we'll have a lot of fun bow hunting in Montana. Kills? Sure, there'll be elk kills. But I hope that you'll come to share my own personal philosophy when hunting rutting bull elk. That a heart-pounding, adrenaline-charged encounter with a bull elk at point-blank range is a cherished memory. And the kill is often anticlimactic. But now, before we go charging off into the mountains to hunt bull elk, we should have a good understanding of the elk rut. Let's just take a few minutes and look at the rutting cycle of the bull elk.
There is no other event in the sporting world that compares with the elk rut for sheer excitement and action. For 11 months out of the year, a bull elk resembles nothing more than a very large deer. But in September, something happens. Like a strange metamorphosis, a bull elk is transformed overnight from a benign animal into a snorting, frothing, vocal combatant. Waves of testosterone flow through his great body, influencing his every movement. Security, food, and good sense are thrown to the winds. He is on the prowl. And if that isn't enough, this entire intriguing ritual takes place in the breathtaking beauty of the fall season in the high Rocky Mountain wilderness. During non-rut periods, the bull's daily routine is centered around feeding and resting in deep cover. In the winter, his movements are greatly influenced by weather. In reality, elk during the winter months are in a continually downward spiral of starvation, surviving only if they husband their energy reserves efficiently enough to greet a new spring. Actually, a bull elk begins preparing for the upcoming rut back in April when his antlers are shed. Within weeks, pulpy protrusions appear where days before there were only raw sores. This is also the shedding time for the elk's heavy winter coat. During the spring, the bull hardly looks like the wilderness monarch he will be in just a few short months. Antler growth is rapid. In fact, how an elk is able to grow such a mass of bone in so short a time is one of the least understood but most remarkable occurrences in nature. An elk rack can account for 18% of its total bone mass. During this growth period, a bull is very careful to avoid damaging the tender velvet-covered shoots. By mid-August, antler growth is complete, and shortly thereafter the velvet covering dies. A bull will then rub his antlers against sapling trees or large bushes to help remove the dried velvet. The result is a spectacular set of long, sweeping antlers that are the envy of sportsmen everywhere. Many mature bulls have 6 thick, symmetrical, long points on each antler. A bull may have antlers whose main beams exceed 5 feet. These main beams are a rich chocolate brown color, and the tines have a peeled-back ivory-colored hue. Truly, these are some of the most spectacular antlers grown by any beast on the earth. All summer long, the bulls prefer the company of each other. However, the time right before the rut begins is a strange one indeed. Meadows and high country parks that were dotted with cows and bulls are conspicuously empty. When cows are spotted, they seem preoccupied and nervous. The bulls are nowhere to be seen. They are back in their own secluded lairs, feeling those first confusing but wonderful stirrings of the rutting lust. The bulls respond to a phenomenon known as photoperiodism. As the days become shorter, less light strikes the retina of the eye, causing certain hormones to be released that stimulate the testicles to produce a second hormone known as testosterone. This chemical in turn stimulates dramatic changes in behavior. The big bulls vigorously denude brush and small trees with their antlers. A bull will often punish a tree until he works himself into a frenzy. He aggressively paws and horns out moist depressions in the earth, in which he will urinate and roll. With each passing day, the powerful male hormones flow through the bull's system with increasing frequency. Those wonderfully strange first mating urges the bull experienced a few days ago rapidly evolve into pangs of lust that threaten to consume his entire mind and body. And in the end, they do. In every drainage, the scenario is the same. At first light on a crisp September morning, a lonely, high-pitched wail echoes through the high country like the cry of a wilderness ghost. minute later, another bugle sounds from a distant ridge, followed by an answering bugle from an alpine meadow. Soon, the haunting, squealing challenges of the bull elk rise to a crescendo. It is the dawn of the rut. The older, more mature bulls quickly round up harems of cows and jealously guard them from any competitor. A herd bull may lead his harem away from an approaching bull, but when pushed, may turn back and become a murderous adversary. Or a bull may elect to stand fast with his cows in a thick patch of timber awaiting developments. At this juncture, the bullman must be patient. An errant gust of wind or too hasty an approach often works in the bull's favor. Several testing stalks may be necessary to turn conditions to the hunter's advantage. Younger and less dominant bulls are called bachelor or satellite bulls. They tend to shadow the herd bull and his harem, hoping to make off with a wayward cow. These bachelor bulls become increasingly frustrated, and fighting sometimes occurs. Witnessing a fight between two mature bulls is extremely rare. Even after 9 years in the field, Stony Wolf Productions has never witnessed such a shocking encounter. Fortunately, a cameraman, Fred McClanahan Jr., was able to video this brutal fight along the highway in Yellowstone National Park. A young bull may be too timid to turn and fight, but an older bull often comes on the run to face his tormentor. And when that happens, look out for a point-blank elk encounter.
Why don't you come along with me, be my sidekick, and we will both hunt elk together, one-on-one.
Mike's first of 3 hunts takes place in the beautiful Clearwater drainage in North Idaho's Clearwater National Forest. This terrain presents a challenging type of hunt, not for the faint-hearted. The Clearwater National Forest, along the divide between Idaho and Montana, is extremely steep country, thickly carpeted with thigh to chest-high alders and brush. Deep canyons, cloaked with dense black timber, conceal good elk populations. As you will see, hunting and filming in this country can be an exercise in frustration.
We got a perfect situation. I'm 90% sure there's a herd bull up this ridge about 300 yards. But we got a young satellite bull 150 yards away just over this ridge. In the meantime, one started bugling over there. I heard one you on this other ridge. What we got is probably one big herd bull with all the cows, and we got a bunch of satellite bulls. This is just what we want. We're going to go in and see what we can do with this young bull first. He's worried. He's concerned. He's raking his antlers up ahead there. Let's go up there and see if we can't confront him or combat him. See him? He's straight up there looking at us through the trees. Careful, careful. See him? See his antlers? That first bull that we chased was just a young bull, either a spike or a forked horn or something. Didn't have the courage to get in close here. I saw it once through the trees about 50 yards away. Didn't take a shot, wasn't a good shot. Then we went after this one on the ridge. He's not a real big 5-point, but he had one cow with him. And he wouldn't come in. He just paced back and forth, and then he started walking. We saw him several times. I could have probably had a 60-yard uphill shot, which was really a bad shot. So he kept on walking over. He's over here. We can still hear him walking around. We've been hunting several days now, and we've had quite a few close encounters with elk, but we haven't got any. Boy, now that is prime habitat. I think I'm going to hunt that next over there. You see, I'm not going to start at the bottom and work all the way up there. See over to the right, there's a little slit of a road up there. It's running along the state line between Idaho and Montana. Rather than walk all the way uphill, I'm going to drive up there and drop off. And I'm going to have somebody pick me up in the bottom down here. This is really what you call prime elk habitat because it's not all forest. Heavy forest, there's no food for an elk. An elk needs brush and grass. As you can see all these openings here, there's a lot of brush and there's a lot of grass, but there's also some timber for security. What I'll do is I'll get up on one of those ridges, probably this first ridge right here is where I'll work tomorrow. I'll get up right off the road so I don't have to walk uphill first thing in the morning. And I'll slowly walk down that ridge, remembering this big, see this big wedge of an alder slide here? I'll make sure that when I hit the knoll, I'll drop down and bugle into it because elk really like those alder slides there. There's an old snow slide, probably an avalanche slide, took all the trees out and all alders have grown in there. But what I'll do is scouting and elk hunting, I'll just keep on going back and forth over this ridge, bugling into those basins. Did you realize after I start there and walk down, it looks like it's about 2.5 to 3 miles, bugle on both sides. You realize how many square miles of country I will have bugled in? I'll know every bugle that's bugling in there. If there's a bull bugle in this country, I'll know about it. And you see those alpine areas right up on the state line. A lot of guys think, well, those are the best areas to go for. The elk really don't live up there. It's a very harsh environment. There's just some low kind of scrub grass, bare grass, and shrubs. The elk want to live down in that timber. They might come up into those openings and eat a little bit on the fringe, but you're more liable to catch them in those, what they call a subalpine. You can see the timber and then the little openings. That's called subalpine terrain. It's not quite high enough to just go treeless. And that's where the elk really like to go. And that's where I look for them. We got into a bull on the other side of the ridge. He come in within about 80 yards of us, and then he got cold feet and left to come over the top of this ridge. He's right over in this basin bugling. He's not that far away. I doubt if we can bugle him in again. I'm going to start trying some cow call and see what happens. Maybe he's afraid of a bull. Maybe he'll come into some cows. coming, boys. He's a coming. He's looking right at me, and all I can see his eyes. I got nothing to hide behind. Gee, what a terrible place. Oh, he's looking right at me. Okay, here he comes. Okay, he's about 30 yards away coming through a screen. Okay, he's behind some trees. Right there. Right there. Oh, he stopped. He stopped. He stopped. He's looking. He's looking. Now, his chest is half obscured behind the trees. I could get a shot at him right here. I could shoot him. I better hold off. It's really marginal. Really marginal. Anything could happen. I could end up hitting him in the punch. I better wait. I hope he don't spook. Oh. Oh. He's testing the air. Look at him. This wind is terrible. It's coming right that way. How was that for a pleasant autumn afternoon hike through the woods? We had 2 different bulls in. That one was about 270 points. I mean, he was a dandy. Same thing up in the evening. We got off the side of the ridge, and there's a storm front coming in. The clouds have come over, and the wind isn't kind of coming the way it should. And just as luck would have it, that bull never bugled when he came in. Luckily, I stopped here and bugled, and I could hear the thump. The next thing I know, whoa, here he comes. Naturally, I'm in the middle of the lodgepole. I can't hide nowhere. I'm hiding behind a skimpy little tree. Back there, I could have shot at him. I could have shot at him. I had a good 30, 35 yard shot at him. His chest went behind the tree and stopped. As it pulled out, I could have come behind. There's about that much in the chest I could see back into the ribs. But it's just chancy. I don't know. It's just not worth taking it and trying to get narrow in there. I was waiting for him to come forward. He'd have been about 30 yards away and shooting downhill. I'd used a 20-yard sight pin to compensate for downhill. And he was dead. He was dead, but that wind caught him. Boy, after a while, you could see him just went. But I don't think he's that spooked. He bugled a couple times at us just now. He's about 300 yards away in this swale. I think 5 after 7, we might wait for him till tomorrow. 2 bulls in one afternoon. Hey, does this look like a pasture to you? You see them milk getting killed in pastures. This ain't no pasture as you can see. I mean, these are what I laughingly tell the guys are real elk. What a hunt. Must have covered about 15 miles this morning. Look at this stream. North Fork to Clearwater. One of the purest waters in the whole world. I can drink out of this water even. Every night I sleep just like a baby because of this water rushing by. Cool nights, clear sky, stars up above. I ought to be paying somebody to be able to do this. This is just beautiful.
His hunt completed in Idaho, Mike moved his camp to Oregon. Mike hunted in the eastern part of the state, a diverse country where rolling hills meet the heavily forested Blue Mountains. The elk hunting is as diverse as the land. Elk may be encountered in timbered pockets, on sagebrush-covered hills, or in heavy timbered mountains.
I think there's 3 elk. 1, 2, 3. I think so. I can hear one right there, Sanders. Let's go. Go this way.
5-point bull and cows move off before Mike can get a sure killing shot. A Spike comes forward to investigate, and Mike is entertained by the rambunctious youngster.
Sounds like my dog. It's just past sundown. You saw all those bulls in there. There's just too much in the open. The Spike was feeding 20 yards above me. I had to sneak right underneath him. It's really just too late to get messing around with these up right now. I'm going to come back tomorrow morning. I think we got a real good chance of getting into them, getting the wind right, and maybe moving in cover. We just got caught way out in the open here, this whole rock area. He's only about 80 yards away, but what are you going to do? It takes 10, 15 minutes to get in there, take a shot. It's the last light. You got an animal, you have the slightest idea what's going on with me, and it's dark. I don't want nothing to do with it. He wants to come over here bad. You know, if we can run over them Jones and I bet he'd walk right in. I'll bet he'd walk right in. Decent 5-point.
While moving in on the large bull, Mike encounters a cow. He carefully circles around her, but soon encounters more problems.
Spike.
Mike attempts to turn back the Spike, but the young bull runs right into the thicket where the big bull is holed up and spooks him.
Last time you bugled from up here, I could hear brush break about 40 yards over to my right in a skid trail. I had either a silent bull or it was cows. So I scoot up here and come to this opening. I could hear it coming. Got on my knees, getting ready. A spike bull and 2 cows. I didn't want a spike bull. 40 yards, it says broadside. I don't want to shoot him, but I don't want him running up here to that bull. So I get up, start diagonal. You think that dumb thing could cut back? The cows were smart enough to cut back. He runs right in front of me, right to this opening. He ran right into that wall. Spooked the whole thing. So
Mike meets meets his friend Jake Jones, a local hunter who has taken several bulls in the area, and they spend the morning glassing a few timbered pockets. Eventually, they move on to the Blue Mountains. Mike and Jake split up for the morning hunt, with plans to meet back on a small ridge at noon. Mike's miss only momentarily spooks the bull, and the hunter moves forward to confront the animal again.
There he goes. There he goes. Ah, got it. I don't blame him for going away. He gave me plenty of opportunity to kill him. I didn't. I live for that. That was so exciting. I didn't kill an elk, but I really don't care right now. Got him in a terrible place. There's 3 long snags running up the hill that had fallen down. When he came across in front of me, why jump over 3 big snags? He went up to the top and he stayed 30, 35, 40 yards away all the time, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, it looked like he was going to come about 30 yards. I saw this log. That's 30 yards. I pulled up. Here he comes. He was on the other side of the log. He went around the tree this way, a 10-yard difference. I shot right under his belly. Arrow hits, bull runs off. Try it again. Here he comes again. Man, I've been chasing him all through here. It's been great. Every time he'd come down, 30 yards away, I'd move up. 25 yards, I'm ready. He'd quarter away. A couple times I got like 40, 45, 50-yard severe quartering shots in. I don't know. I could hit him on a target range, but I just don't feel real good about flinging one at an elk, moving especially.
Let's take a closer look at Mike's encounter and see if we can learn how to improve on it.
I'm going to show you a fatal mistake I made so that you won't do the same dumb thing I did. And this will beat you every time. See those 3 trees over there? They're just blown down dead trees, snags. They're running up and down the hill. When I set up right back here. Well, that elk, he was on to my left side over here. I mean, he couldn't get across here. I mean, even an elk couldn't jump that. So he stayed above him. Went back and forth and back and forth. And I'm sitting here, I couldn't hardly get a shot at him. There's a screen of trees, even though a lot of times he was 25, 30 yards. I couldn't see him. Finally, I took that one shot up there. And you can see the log. I looked at the log. I said, okay, 30 yards, and I could see his antlers. And at the time, he was only 30 yards away, but there's a big red fir up there. He went around the red fir. So my mind is thinking 30 yards. I shot right under him because I used a 40-yard pin. I'm going to tell you another thing that's really valuable. People bugle and they expect the elk to come right into them. And they don't do that. If they're going to fight, they'll do that. But normally, they're protecting territory or bluffing. And you hear so many guys talk about, oh, he come into 50 yards and then he hung up. They usually do. They go back and forth and prove to the other bull that they're big and strong. They rut and bugle and rake their antlers and all that stuff, and then they move off. And that's what this guy did. I bugled back here, and he answered 70 yards away. What I should have done, looked at that, and right up to this big red fir up here, about 30 yards, and then I just shot him at 20 yards when he went by. So, when you hear him, like 70, 80 yards away, you bugle, if there's enough cover, scoot forward 20 yards or something to the next available cover. And see, he thinks you're still back there 70, 80 yards. He comes forward a little bit, and he's going to work in front of you and show off, and you'll be right there for him. That's mistake number 2 I made. I should have ran up there, and I should have watched out for these trees here. Remember that. Set up so that when that bull comes right in, or else back and forth, you've got the shooting lanes. You pick the ambush site. Don't let him. I let him pick the ambush site, and I lost.
Hey, wake up, Popinski.
Oh, Jake.
There's elk to be killed.
Goodness. Jake, I didn't think they grew like this in Oregon.
They don't. It's a transplant, I think. What do you think, huh?
Anyway, I just woke up. I don't know what to think. Wow. 4, 5, 6 point perfect.
Perfect. I don't shoot anything but perfect.
I'm thinking real quick now.
280?
No. I bet he goes at least 300. Maybe even 310 or 320. He's so symmetrical. Other than this time being a little longer, you're going to get 2, 3 points. After we left, you went up that ridge there. Is that
The next ridge over, and I went up on the north slope and come around. And as I was coming around, I kept hearing what I thought was a bull bugling up at the head of the drainage. And I just kept working around, and finally I come around. I heard a bull clear down the bottom right below me bugle, and one part way up the hill, and then this bull at the head of the drainage.
3 bulls. Oof.
And so I just sat down there for, 20 minutes or so, just trying to, locate them. And this one he just kept going, and this little one, there's a little bull right below me, just shut up. So I just kind of took his place, and I started bugling with the trio. And we just kept going and kept going, and finally he shut up, and the other bull in the bottom of the drainage he kind of shut up. So I angled up around, keep the wind up, it was blowing up the ridge really hard. So I just come up and around, and I started to drop down where I kind of thought he was, and he bugled about 85 yards. And so I just set up. There's a pretty open hillside going down, and there's quite a bit of cover behind me, and I just sat up there, and I just grunted a little bit, and looked down the hill, and God, he just come walking through the trees like this, and he just come right up 15 yards broadside, and I shot him right square in the heart, and he just turned around, and he just barely out of sight, and it was silent, and I just went crazy.
You know, you might as well quit bow hunting now. I mean, what could you do for an encore? I mean, this is beautiful.
I need a 7-point now.
I'm not a little bit envious or anything.
No, you shouldn't be. We'll get you one tomorrow.
This is great, buddy. Let's go get the meat, and we can be ready for tomorrow morning.
We'll be ready. All right, now, let's go.
Back there and measure, because I just know it. I know it. Really.
The next morning, Jake was unable to make the hunt, and Mike decided to go back to the area where he'd previously encountered the 4 bulls.
It's starting to. He's down. He just went down. He just went down. Say it again. He just went down. He was standing there with his head drooping, just turned. He's laying down now. Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
That's
That's what I'm looking for. Bright red, fresh blood. Look at that broadhead's bent. I'll bet it rammed into the far shoulder and he bent it when he run off and pushed that arrow back out. Good, good, good. I know he's down here. Oh, all right. Well, praise the Lord. Amen. Wow. This is a successful end to my hunt. Not with the bull elk, not with the trophy, but that I made a good humane shot. This bull only ran 100 yards, stood with his head down, and went down. It was a point blank encounter. It's just so charged with excitement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice little 5-point bull. You know, just really a nice little animal. A trophy experience. You know, it's just, I passed up some shots that were, yeah, I could hit him, maybe I couldn't though. Waited for the shot where he was broadside at 25 yards, and I hit him just perfect. You just couldn't hit an elk better. You see, friends, this was the object of my hunt. This was my quarry, but this wasn't the reason for hunting elk. When I go out, I want that adrenaline gushing, heart pounding experience of having an elk come in point blank. And that's what I had here. I've had several of them come in, and you get a marginal shot. Should I take it? I could hit it, maybe I couldn't. Pass them up and wait for that one point blank encounter like this one. 25 yards, when I released this shaft here, the animal was dead. He only ran 100 yards, stopped, stumbled, went down. A very humane kill. Excellent animal. I'm so pleased with him. I'm just so full of emotion right now, I'll tell you.
The warm glow of a campfire provides Mike with a perfect atmosphere to reflect on his feelings for this magnificent animal. Mike returns to his home state of Montana, which has huge chunks of land open to elk hunting. The habitat is varied, ranging from the dry sagebrush prairies of east central Montana to the dense lodgepole forests west of the Continental Divide. Even today, there are opportunities to take big bulls on public lands if a person is willing to work for them. Mike hunts the Bitterroot Mountain Divide along the Idaho border.
It's a herd, boys. Going like this. Got a cow. Cow just saw me from right in front of us. I don't know what to do about me. I've got an idea. We'll go back to this avalanche chute that comes down the mountain. Get up to the same elevation, then come across this way. Got our scent. That is too bad. We are ready to kill him. Boy, I was aiming for that ball. Just bugled again. He was about 25 yards away, just downhill a little bit. Screen of trees, I could see him moving a little bit, just going crazy. Good and hot. With this sun hitting us, I knew the wind would stay right. Pretty soon here, thump, 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 thump. No more bugles. He caught our scent. He was about half a minute from being dead. I mean, he was real close to dying. Boy, there's cows walking all over. You can hear them thumping and crashing. This is real fun. This is typical Western Montana. Beautiful, man. Real elk habitat everywhere.
The next morning, Mike returns to the same basin and quickly locates the herd bull.
Oh, big old herd bull over there. Raking his antlers on the brush. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, wow. He's got 4 cows with him. He's just sitting out there like a king. Wow. Nice 6-point. Real nice 6-point. Stuck his head right out there. Just... Yeah, he might have a date with destiny. I'd like to get in on him. He's the one I almost killed yesterday. He's 20 yards away raking his antlers. I'm on the uphill side with an avenue right up to me, and he's going crazy coming my way. The wind swirled. Otherwise, I'd have killed him for sure. It was so exciting. You should have seen the way he was growling and howling. Oh. He's a big old nasty bull. It's going to be a lot of fun to get into, I hope. But those darn cows, I don't worry about the bull, I worry about those cows. They see her or smell you. Everybody takes off. Right back. That is an impressive animal. But you can really see him now it's in the light. Just a nice 6-point, about 280 points. I put him on his nose and way down. There's America's favorite big game animal right there. Talk about impressive. I bet he weighs 850 pounds. He is a huge bull. He is a big animal. Okay, I think they're ringing our number. They're going into the timber. It's time to hunt, boys. It's time to hunt. Just went into the timber. Now I can drop down through this opening. Get over there and challenge him. This is a roll of the dice. You can be the best hunter in the world. I'm going to do everything I can. I've shot herd bulls before, but with the cows, you can do everything right. He's coming in. Cows see or smell you. So it's fun, though. It's fun. I mean, these are the trophy animals, or the herd bulls.
Mike's warning proved accurate as the huge bull moves his cows off. On the following morning, snow covers the ground. The elk are not very responsive to Mike's bugling, and another heavy snowstorm is forecast. But it's too late. Mike's bugling is in vain. The rut is over. The elk are bracing for winter.
Well, it's the 7th of October in Montana. This snowstorm pretty much signals the end of the rut. It's usually a cataclysmic event after a nice long fall. Get that first snow and the bulls are lying down already. That's it. I've been trying for the last 2 days and nothing's come. I did change from cotton to wool though. This snow is something. It's neat though. There comes a time when you should give up, but there's just one more basin I want to try because I got 11 more months away. I'm going to try one more. See you later.
Well, the elk rut has finally ended, and I'm recuperating sore muscles back here at the Elk Foundation Visitor Center. They have a couple hundred visitors come through here every day. It's just a fantastic place. I'll tell you, already I can't wait till next September when the elk rut begins again. It became apparent that the encroachment of civilization could drastically reduce elk hunting as we knew it. Something had to be done to make sure that we always have a healthy population of free-roaming elk in the West. As a result, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation was created in 1984 as a nonprofit organization whose mission is to raise funds for the direct benefit of elk, other wildlife, and its habitat. The bottom line here is an emphasis on habitat. In fact, the conservation track record of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is astounding. Tens of thousands of acres of critical elk habitat have been purchased for the security of this magnificent big game animal. Wildlife burns have been implemented to create better winter forage for the elk, and many thousands of dollars have been donated to research. These are just a few of the conservation projects of this organization. You too can do your part for the continuation of the elk in North America. Join the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Pitch in and work vigorously towards its conservation goals. With dedicated sportsmen to lend their hand towards this fine organization, we'll always have a large population of elk to thrill both sportsmen and wildlife enthusiasts.